Hello. Today is day 247, and we're reading Ezekiel 25 through 27. We saw in the last chapter that Ezekiel's prophecy on the destruction of Jerusalem and the temple has been completed. The Jews have had their joy, the glory of their existence destroyed. God was sure to have some people escape the destruction to be able to relay that information to the Jews in Babylon. So they have just lost heart. They've lost their, um, you know, the desire of their eyes. That's what Jerusalem and the temple were. They had nothing now. They had nothing to look forward to going back. They were devastated. And their enemies all around them, the countries around them, saw this and took the opportunity to um, berate them, to belittle them, to make fun of them, um, to curse them, really, to curse them. Um, different countries around Ammon, and God judged these countries for coming against Israel. You know, He said in His Word that if you bless Israel, if you bless them, you'll be blessed, and if you curse them, you'll be cursed. Ammon was the first one, and God said it was because they said, "Aha!" "Aha!" They're finally getting what they deserve. Ammon was jumping up and down. They're clapping their hands and stomping their feet and having parties, dancing in the streets that Jerusalem is finally taken off. The same thing with Moab. It was because they said that the house of Judah was like all the other nations now. They had no protection from God. They were the same as everybody else. There was no distinction between them.
Mm-hmm.
And Edom, because Edom did against Judah vengeance. They took vengeance on them. How they did that, I'm not sure. But that's what they did.
Edom was the one that wouldn't let them pass through when they were coming out of
Okay, good.
when they were coming out of Egypt, and they wanted passage. Not only did Edom refuse them passage, but they started a war with them. They wanted to start a war with them, so they had to go around to get past Edom.
And the Philistines was the other one in chapter 25, and it was because of old spiteful hurts, old hatreds. That thing about Goliath and the wars, yeah,
Old hatred.
they were not too happy. So God, they had their way with Israel then, and God was not happy, and He judged them also. In chapter 26. This was 2 years later. This says this is in the 11th year. The destruction of the temple was in the 9th year, and this is the 11th year. So almost 2 years later. Tyre is really. They were the economic, the trading capital of the then known world.
Yes.
They traded with every country, every nation throughout the whole Mediterranean Sea, eastward, northward, southward. They were the hub of all the economic activity in the area. And they were kind of jealous of Jerusalem, I think, because Jerusalem was the center of the
known world, really, right?
Well, yeah.
It was a gateway.
They were the religious center of the world. Everybody migrating between the north and the south and the east and the west would end up going through Israel and Jerusalem. And the Jews would come from all over the world, at least 3 times a year to go to Jerusalem. And that, I think that the
people of Tyre
were jealous of them. Absolutely.
They saw it as an economic, that it would be a benefit to them. Israel gone, they
Right.
would move in and they would even become greater. But I think on a spiritual note, I just real quick want to throw something in here. When I studied about Tyre, the king of Tyre was given wisdom, and the word says wiser than Solomon, I think is what it said. He made a pact with the enemy. He made a pact with Satan. He had a wisdom in knowing how to trade and how to become politically and economically.
I think you're moving ahead.
I might be ahead. I'm going to stop now. Go back, John.
No, you pick it up here.
No, keep going.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think you're talking about chapter 28 and 29.
Oh,
You were given the opportunity, but you didn't want to do that one. Okay, so yeah, Tyre was very wealthy. They were hugely wealthy. They had luxury from one end to the other. And when God judged them, all of their merchants, their trading partners throughout the world they were devastated. Um,
I think when you think about Tyre, you think about where it was situated. It was on the coast. It was where modern day Lebanon is right now, just north of Tel Aviv. And because they were situated on the coast, half of their city was built actually in an island just off the coast. They had a sand causeway where they would get to that island. They had a fortress 150 feet tall. They felt like they were indestructible, and they felt no one could touch them. And did you know that?
no,
It is true.
that's awesome.
And the other half of their country was situated on the coastal area, and so it was a beautiful city. The word goes into great detail explaining what that city looked like, but they really thought that they were impenetrable, but hey, God had another plan. Back to you, JP.
Oh, well, no, you're doing fine. Go ahead. You've got
Well,
some stuff
the only thing I have written down is that what began as a judgment of the nations morphs into a prophecy against Lucifer, and that is chapter 28. But I just think you need to see the parallel there, because in order to understand what God was saying, and this is what really struck me, was that these leaders and these kings and these people that were ruling these countries, they were being led by Satan. And so because they worshiped other gods, they were just absolutely led by Lucifer, by Satan. And so when God judges them, he also goes into who's really being judged, and that is in chapter 28. It is Lucifer. But I think if we put it in our modern day, if we look at the scenario of where we are in our nation alone, I think it's so obvious that so many of our leaders, so many people in charge are getting their marching orders from Satan and no other place but him. And I think we've got to be very, very careful to know when someone believes in things that are so against the Word of God, you know who they're being led by. And it's no different than, God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And I believe that in the same way that these nations were being led and taken astray by the God of this world, by Satan.
Even the description of Tyre reminds me of America. Just the description in the word. It's coastlands, it's on the waters, it's
great in trade.
Great in trade and riches beyond belief.
God have mercy on us.
It just looks like America to me.
So that's those 3 chapters. And there's hope. The end of Ezekiel gets very glorious. So
Amen.
there's hope coming.
Yes.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.
Bye.